Shalom folks, welcome back to the channel where we use running to bring out the beauty of the land, running the footsteps of history where it all began. And here we are, Tel Azekah in the British Park. What we're going to do for you is run you up the Tel, and we're going to connect you with the period of
David the boy who became the man, who became the king, who unified the Jewish people in united monarchy 3 millennia ago. And the footsteps we're running in today are in the footsteps of that very shepherd boy. We are connecting not just to history or her story, but to our stories as Jewish people.
Now, isn't that exciting? Check out the location. You find yourselves with us in the Shvela, the Judean lowlands, and we're going to run you up the Tel, and that's where we're going to tell you the story. Let's go. Okay folks, before we show you the view, I'm going to use this beautiful topographical map of the land of Israel just to give you a lay of the land and to point out where we are. Azekah. And if you look at this map, you can clearly see that the land is made up of a central mountain range. But let's move our eyes off the map onto the real thing. There we go. You can make out the beautiful hills of Judea due east of us, and if we turn around this side, we're looking due west towards the coastal plain, the land of the Philistines, the land of the Israelites. Okay folks, the perfect place to use two tools to connect you to the site where we are, Tel Azekah. You probably have never heard about it, but you have heard about King David. So have a look at this beautiful coin called the King David coin, minted in our generation, that's going to connect us with a story from 3,000 years ago to the shepherd boy David before he became the king. Now, what's the other tool that I'm going to use besides the coin? I think a GPS would be the perfect tool, no? Everybody needs a GPS today. Do we have a GPS with us?
As a matter of fact, I happen to have prepared one earlier.
Bring it for us. Well, why don't you, kind sir? A GPS is going to come out from the bag. Now, this is a very special GPS. It's a GPS you don't need to charge. You don't need to update the software. It's always ready to be used. Even if you make mistakes, you can be rerouted. Check out this GPS. Ain't it a beauty? Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with this. This is the Bible. This is the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, which has got Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, the 5 books of Moses, the prophets, Chronicles, and here it all is. And what we're going to do is use this tool, the GPS, God's personal system, which will point us in the direction as to where we're going today. So how about let's head to the book of Samuel, Sefer Shmuel, chapter 17, the book of Samuel, verse 1.
The Philistines assembled their forces for battle. They massed at Sukkah of Judah and encamped in Ephes Damim between Sukkah and Azekah. Saul and the men of Israel massed and encamped in the valley of Elah. They drew up their line of battle against the Philistines, with the Philistines stationed on one hill and the Israelites stationed on the opposite hill. The ravine was between them.
How is that? You heard the word Azekah from the book of Samuel, and the valley below us, the valley of Elah, and the battle lines were drawn. Here to the south, the Israelites on this hill, and to the north, the Philistines on the other side of the valley. Now think of it, folks. 3,000 years ago, the shepherd boy, ruddy shepherd boy David, is the one to be courageous enough to step up to the battleground. But you know what's best? Why tell the story here? Let's head down to the actual battle line. We can take you into the stream of Elah, and we're going to figure out what was his weapon. What was David's confidence? Yes, his confidence was in the heavens above, but he was a very skilled fighter. We'll go down to the valley and we'll figure out how did the shepherd boy take on this challenge. And really remember, connected to this coin, a physical piece from today's generation. Here we are, back in our land, minting coins, talking about stories from 3,000 years ago in the actual location on these beautiful biblical rolling hills of Israel. Welcome home. Let's go and see it. As we make our way down, just have a look at this beautiful benches. And what do we see here? Hebrew letters. What do these Hebrew letters tell us?
Well, the amazing thing is we just had a family group just over there who came up here, and they were reading the sentences out. We are the only people that can read our ancient texts from 3,000 years ago. And these texts, written, carved into this modern stone, are the text of the very story that happened here, all from the book of Samuel. Vayishlach David et yado al klei ve'ikach misham even. And David put his hand into the vessel and took from there a stone. The very story we're about to explore is written and carved in stone here for all eternity.
So isn't that wonderful? What a place, what a land where you can really come and live the words of the GPS, the words of the Bible, and we're surrounded by it. And a particularly gorgeous spot where you have a 360-degree view looking in every direction of this tiny yet very significant land. Let's go down. Okay folks, almost 5 kilometers into the run, and about 3 miles, and we have reached the valley of Elah and the stream bed of Elah. Just have a look behind us. This steep cliff was in the Israelites' hand, and you can see the path that's coming down. That is the path that David the shepherd climbed down from the hills into the valley where we are now. But what did he do here? Well, we'll have to pull out the GPS again, but let's get to the real spot down here, and we'll do it for you. Right, let's pull out that beautiful book.
Well, first of all, let's do some show and tell. What do you see around here, Shmuel?
Well, I can definitely see stones.
This is a riverbed. Yeah. Smooth round stones.
Smooth round stones that have been eroded from the winter rains. Every year there's beautiful streams that flush down this valley from the mountains of Judah in the direction of the Mediterranean Sea. But like I said, let's see if we can find something, a clue as to what these stones could have been used for. 5 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfection. Right, now let's go to the actual site, the battle lines. Okay friends, you've made it down with us in the middle of the Elah Valley where this incredible battle played out 3,000 years ago. Goosebumps, gooseflesh every time I'm here, just to point out where we are. Pull out the GPS, bring us into the picture.
Folks, first of all, just think how surreal it is. We're standing in this beautiful sun-drenched valley, peaceful, quiet, serene. And yet in this very spot where we're standing, in this very ground, momentous events took place that forever changed the course of human history. Let's go straight to the source. When the Philistine caught sight of David, he scorned him, for he was but a boy, ruddy and handsome. And the Philistine called out to David, "Am I a dog, that you come against me with sticks?" The Philistine cursed David by his gods, and the Philistine said to David, "Come here, I will give your flesh to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field." David replied to the Philistine,
"Oh yeah? You come against me with sword and spear and javelin? I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the ranks of Israel, whom you have defied. This very day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. I will kill you and cut off your head. I will give the carcass of the Philistine camp to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the earth. All of the earth shall know that there is a God in Israel, and the whole assembly shall know that the Lord gave victory without sword or spear. But the battle is the Lord's, and he will deliver you into our hands." How's that, friends? So I hope you've enjoyed that little taste of such an incredible story and history. Remember, this coin will connect you to that story to bring you into the picture of this beautiful land of Israel. But I'd like to add a little bit of something just to close off. David, you know, being a shepherd, was actually a very effective soldier. Everybody thinks he was this mighty underdog against this Philistine giant. But not only having his full faith in God, he had the skill of a soldier that could be put into the front lines. These heavy stones in the bottom of the Ela Valley, if you knew how to use your slingshot, this is probably the most powerful and most effective weapon against a Philistine with all of his armor. You remember, even Saul offered David to put on the armor, get prepared for battle, and David said, no, I'm uncomfortable with this. This is not for me. I come with faith, I come with skill, and I believe in who I am. And that's what he did. One shot knocked out the enemy. And you know what, there's so much we can discuss about this. Come to Israel, visit us, we'll happily take you around, and we can bring out the meaning and the message of Jewish history. And like Tovia said, look, we're in this beautiful spot in an agricultural field. They're busy planting almond trees. Etz Shaked. Life has returned to the land of Israel, the site of battle 3,000 years ago between the enemies of Israel, the enemies of God. God has brought us back to the chosen land, the promised land, a place of promise for you, for me, for everybody.
Amen.
Look in the description, which will connect you to the website where you can get yourself this incredibly special coin that'll connect you with the story. You'll remember it. You'll have a piece of Israel with you at home. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like, share, drop a comment. There'll be plenty more coming to you this year. This is a new year in Israel. It's a Shana Tova. It's a new Hebrew year, and we are super excited to take you and bring you to the land virtually. Come see us physically. See you in the next one. Have yourselves a lovely weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Peace out.